Hi, I'm Paulina. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. And I'm so glad to have you. And yes, I'm finally back on screen. I've been doing voiceovers, but I didn't fix this background up for nothing. And I need to get back on screen. But I've been so busy and running and not time to get really makeup ready. And I know I've done some videos without makeup, but I prefer to have it on. But anyway, wanted to talk to you. This is my series, in case you are not familiar with it. My Halloween series that I like to call Felina's 31 Days of Spectacular Scares. And I wanted to tell you about a story that I read in two different books, the same story. And don't worry, on this story, one of my videos ended up being 40 minutes long. It's not going to be that long, I promise. But first of all, I'm going to let you have a look see at the two books where I got this uh, story from. So take a look at that. This first book is Evil Unleashed, True Tales of Spells Gone to Hell and Other Occult Disasters. And it's by John Harker. He's a journalist, he enjoys writing, and he's had his own experiences. So he was interested in looking into other people's. And this is how he put some stories together, these true stories together for this book. This book is Haunted by the Things You Love, and it's by John Zaffis and Rosemary Ellen Cully. And John is the nephew of the late Ed Warren. He's had experiences of his own, and he studied with his uncle and, of course, Lorraine, his aunt, and he has a museum of his own. And he had a show called Haunted Collector on Sci-Fi. I really enjoyed that show. And Rosemary has worked with him, and she's had experience with like cursed objects, and she's learned to sense their energy. So this story, actually, in the first book, there are different names. Okay, actually, in the first book that I read, it was called The Wish, but in the last book I read, it goes by the title that I had already decided, and I had already made a thumbnail for. Be careful what you wish for. So I'll get into the story of it, and I do have notes here in case I forget something. But for the most part, you know, I want to make sure I have all the details. But for the most part, I think I've got it here. Okay, this is about a young woman named Jamie who just really didn't have an exciting life at all. In fact, downright boring. She didn't go out. She didn't have a special person in her life. She didn't make a lot of money. And she was just feeling kind of depressed and humdrum about everything. And it was a Friday night at home watching TV, and she didn't really find anything on TV she liked. And she looks over at the shelf, and she notices this lamp. Now, there are two versions. Of course, the books will say things are changed. Some personal details and, of course, names. Because in the other book, there's different names. But anyway, in one version it says it was her uncle. In one it says it was her cousin. So we'll just say a relative. Brought back to her from the Middle East. And she had the silliest thought. She thought, I wonder if I rubbed that, like it'd be like Aladdin, would I get wishes? What would happen? And then she laughed at herself and thought that was a silly thought. And then she sat there and it was almost like an intrusive thought that it kind of was. It kept nagging at her to do it. She just had this feeling about doing it. So the compulsion became so heavy, she finally got up, feeling kind of silly about it, But she got up and she picked up the lamp, and she thought, she said, well, normally you get 3 wishes, but I don't know if I get that. What should I wish for? Because, she'd like to have somebody special in her life. She'd like to have more money. Just to be happier, more success. And before she made her wish, she thought about it, and she thought, well, one way to handle that would be I could just wish for all of my wishes to come true. So that is what she did. And she rubbed it. She made that wish. Nothing happened. So another night, it's getting late. She went to bed. And that night she had a very, very strange dream. She had a dream that she was in front of a building that had a long line, and she couldn't see a description on the building. But as she got closer and got to the door, she saw a sign that said free lunch. So she goes in, and everybody's filling up their plates. All these people are filling up their plates. So she thinks, I might as well do the same thing. And she gets a plate and starts getting food. And this masculine voice says to her, what are you doing? And she says, I'm getting lunch. He said, you can't have that. You haven't paid for it. She said, but the sign outside said it's free. And he told her, he said, nothing is free. The lunch isn't free. Nothing is free. But you can make me an offer because I already know what you want. And at this point in the dream, she was getting spooked. But even though this guy was somewhat hateful, well, he was hateful, and he was hateful, but there was something about him that she found attractive. She couldn't deny that. But anyway, she woke up and it was a dream. And the next day, she went to work, and with not having a good night's sleep, she was kind of irritated anyway, just in one of those moods. And she had a coworker. I think they're everywhere. It wasn't really that she disliked her, but she found her annoying because she would talk all the time. She would laugh loud, and really she laughed at her own jokes and didn't have anything new to tell. And Jamie often got annoyed with her. Her name was Sandra. That's the name given. And she was sitting there and just filling out of it. And she put her head in her hands and said, I wish Sandra would just stuff it. I wish she'd just stuff it. And not a minute had passed until she heard coughing. And it was Sandra. And Sandra rushed to the bathroom. And it sounded like she was choking. And she went to the bathroom and she came back out and she looked white as a ghost. Looked really sick. And she had to end up taking the rest of the day off. And now Jamie was concerned. I mean, she wasn't crazy about this woman, but she honestly, she didn't mean it. She didn't really wish ill will on her. So she goes home early. And then Jamie, when she goes home that night, she watches TV for a little while and she goes to bed. And then she's sleeping, or at least she thought she was. I think she thought it was a dream. It felt like a masculine figure got in bed with her. And she was kind of going along with it. She kind of enjoyed it. In her subconscious state or whatever, I guess thinking she was dreaming. But then she woke up, and what startled her was when she woke up, she saw this was not a dream anymore. When she woke up, she saw the guy that had got after her about the lunch. And she told him to go away and just leave her alone, to go back where he came from. And she found this just to be crazy, really crazy. And things just didn't get any better from after that. She had bad luck. She was clumsy. She was getting bruised. She she had two near miss car accidents, and she almost fell down steps. And then just got in a very sad mood, and a sense of dread came over her. And she also heard noises like something on the roof. She told herself it was raccoons. It wasn't raccoons, but that's what she told herself. And she would hear like knockings on the wall, and she was really starting to get scared. And she somehow got in touch with John Zappis and told him what was going on. So when she had talked to him on the phone, he told her it might help to I had hair in my mouth there. Sorry, but he told her it might help if she set the lamp outside, and she did that, and it helped a little bit. But he got there, and of course to him it looked innocent, so she had it sitting outside, and he brought it in, and he knew right away what was going on. And she asked him, she said, how can you stand to touch it? Uh, and he said, well, he'd had experience with these things, as he had studied with Ed and Lorraine, and I think he also had his own paranormal experience as well. He's with Ed and Lorraine, he did, but I think he had some personally too. But he told her what she had on her hands was called a gin, and she said, "Gin, like the alcohol?" And he laughed and he said, "No." He spelled it. He said it spelled. I think I got this right. Ginn, spelled with a D, but it's pronounced gin. I know this because I listened. This is why I have notes written down. I listened to it on Audible. But she said, "What is that?" And he said, "Well, actually, it's like a genie." She said, "But I didn't think genies were real." He said, "Well, actually, they are. But the thing is, they've been in children's shows, and they've always been made out to be good and be magic, but actually they can be tricksters." And she had told him like where it came from, and he told her, and this is where I might need to get my glasses on because I don't want to tell the wrong thing of what he told her. But this is a very weird story. He told her when it had probably that somebody had probably like binded this genie to the lamp, and the genie had been dormant like when it was in the Middle East, but then when it got to America and when she paid attention to it, that woke it up. And he explained that what they really want is human energy. That's what they want. And they are dangerous. They're very dangerous. And they portray them, like as I said, they portray them, like you have Aladdin. But according to what he says, they're tricksters. They want the human energy. They want that. And they could possibly, they were already playing Hobbick with her. And it could have possessed her. And it's evil. It's not actually considered a demon, but it's like an evil spirit. And she told him she didn't want it. And so he put it in a case, and he said he'd take it with him. And he highly advised that she have an exorcism done on herself and the house to be on the safe side. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Genies are something I've honestly never given thought to. But could something like that happen? I mean, I have heard the word jinn. I wasn't sure what it was. I knew it was something evil, but anyway, I don't, interesting story there. I thought I'd share it. And I really enjoy you all watching. I really do. And everyone that watches my videos, I appreciate you so much. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. It would help me so much. And I don't think they're going to disable comments. Again, they did that once. I don't know why they did it. I never found out. But if you can comment, leave your comments down there. I love getting comments and engaging with people. And it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So, I'm going to go and tune in again tomorrow for more scary tales. And I'm going to go, and whenever you're watching this, have a great day, have a great night, whatever it is for you. And thanks again for watching. Bye.